Greetings everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Captain Ryan. Today's YouTube video has got me spreading a little bit of 4th of July freedom here in World of Warships. As the battle gets underway, it's the Heaven map, it's Domination match mode, and I am in the Tier 9 US premium battleship, the USS Missouri. What better ship for a 4th of July video? Now, looking at the situation, there are a number of destroyers on the enemy team, but my team does technically have a destroyer advantage right now. The enemy team does have some tier 10 ships, including a Minotaur, a Yamato, and a Gearing, so I'm going to have to be on the lookout for all of those, because the last thing I want to do is end up dealing with those 3 ships, especially dealing with a Gearing, a Yamato, and a Minotaur all at the same time. Now that the battle's getting underway, I have decided that I'm going to go to the B cap point, partly because I spawned basically off to the far fringe flank of my team. Fortunately for me, the Missouri is a fast battleship, so she can get up here quickly and push up, and also fortunately for me, the majority of the team has also decided to head this direction with me. As I start pushing up toward the B cap point, we have 3 friendly destroyers all pushing into that cap point and all starting to cap. But you'll notice that the friendly Fletcher up there laid a smoke screen, and I'm not entirely sure why he did it. Nothing is over here that could be detecting him, and it's actually blocking the view of myself and pretty much the entire fleet behind me. And, you know, while I appreciate a smoke screen to help conceal me, not being able to shoot at things and take advantage of that concealment is a bit of a problem. There, briefly though, somebody does manage to spot an enemy Bismarck pushing up towards the C cap point, and that Bismarck was broadside on, so I get my forward guns out there, and I do cause a significant amount of damage, putting a hurt on him for about 14,000 points. Now, that Bismarck is still broadside on, and as Jingle says, if you broadside onto a battleship, that's a paddling. My phrase is, I'm gonna smack you. If you broadside onto me, I'm just gonna smack you. Getting more shots out there. The Bismarck, though, with its turtleback armor, incredibly difficult to citadel. Still, though, do manage to cause a significant amount of damage in the form of regular penetrations. The enemy team does manage to take out one of our destroyers, and as a result, we no longer have a destroyer advantage. And unfortunately, that's not going to be the first destroyer that we lose in this game. That Bismarck's still giving me a broadside, and I'm going to hit him again and cause even more hurt. I mean, at this point, that's the only thing I've shot at, and I've done 42,000 damage to the poor guy without any citadel hits. The Fletcher smoke that I was sitting in there for a brief moment did finally dissipate, and that's when an Otago comes around the corner there, and he is broadside on, so I smack him for a wonderful citadel with my rear turrets, forward turrets reloaded again, fire those shots out, and smack him again for my first kill of the game with yet another citadel. Let that be a lesson to you, and hopefully you'll learn better. Don't broadside, or you're gonna get smacked. Speaking of getting smacked there, I take a pretty substantial amount of damage in, and I'm pretty sure that damage was from the Yamato, though the Mogami that's sitting behind that island there is causing some problems for me by firing high explosive. Do end up pulling a Notster and beach myself, and I popped my radar because there were torpedoes there that were coming in, and those were obviously from a destroyer, and sure enough, that enemy Kagero has popped up. Of course, he's now outside of my radar range, which is unfortunate, but look how far he managed to penetrate behind my team's lines. Yes, he managed to get all the way down towards the original D cap point. That's a little scary that he got down there so quickly, but luckily, he doesn't seem to be interested in causing some serious problems for us yet. enemy Yamato is broadside on, and he's effectively stationary. It's also worth noting that he's not actually pointing his guns at my direction. So I get shots out there, and apparently my gunners managed to miss a stationary broadside on Yamato. Okay, RNGesus, I hear ya. You're gonna make it up to me, right? Finally managed to pull myself off of the rocks there, get myself going forward, getting myself turned around. I'm still being detected, and of course that tells me that something is within detection range, and I think it's the Mogami that's spotting me, but it could also be the Kagero that's back down there, and of course we're going to see more torpedoes from that destroyer soon enough. I do manage to connect on both the Yamato and the Mogami, but I don't manage to do much damage to either of them, though I did actually do more damage to the Yamato than I did to the Mogami, oddly enough. Speaking of ships that are pulling Nazers, this North Carolina up here is reversing, and he's effectively reversing right onto the rocks behind him. So I get all 3 shots out there. Not really sure if I'm going to be able to do much damage to him, considering he's bow on to me at this point, but I do manage to connect with the penetration and finish him off, securing my 2nd kill of the game. And there behind me, you'll have noticed that those torpedoes coming in from the Kagero, so he is definitely still down here, but again, he doesn't seem to be doing much in the way of actual damage to the team. The team, by the way, has also lost yet another destroyer, which means the enemy team now has a destroyer advantage, having 4 destroyers to our 3. More importantly, they still have their gearing and a Fletcher, and both of those ships are very, very dangerous indeed to be dealing with. Friendly Fletcher up there has his smokescreen up again, and he has got himself into a bad situation. He's got a Minotaur up there. He's also got an enemy Fletcher that's hiding up there, and he's got to deal with a Yamato too, so he's just kind of sitting in his smokescreen blazing away with as many of his guns as he can get onto a target. Speaking of targets, there's another North Carolina up there. He's kind of hiding behind an island, but just enough that I am able to connect with him, but only managed to get a ricochet. A little disappointing there. However, that's not the only target as I push up here. There's now a broadside Iowa for me. So as I push up into the Fletcher's smokescreen, that Iowa is in a prime position for me to shoot. So I get shots out at him, and hopefully I'll be able to connect with him and cause some significant damage to him. The enemy team has lost yet another ship. My team has as well lost another ship. Do cause some pretty good damage to that Iowa. No citadels, though. And now I'm pushing out of the smokescreen. I actually forgot that I had radar, and that's why I'm doing this. Otherwise, I would have popped that radar and probably deleted the Minotaur that's sitting in that smokescreen. But here come the torpedoes from the Minotaur, and there's the North Carolina pushing out from the island there, and I managed to smack him as well for a citadel, and I've pretty much put some hurt on him. I turned bow into the Yamato, and the reason I didn't shoot at the Yamato was the prominent fact that he's bow onto me. My shots are pretty much going to bounce off of him at this kind of angle, and I'd rather not have to deal with that. Managed to ricochet off that North Carolina, so no connection there. The Yamato is now mostly broadside onto me, and I do manage to connect for double citadel. But you'll notice the RNGs is again screwing me over, as I only get 1 additional penetration. So I managed to hit him with 3 of 6 shells, only 50% hit rate. The Minotaur is wrecking me. I actually have the gearing behind the Yamato flagged. The Yamato pulls a Nodster, and I'm turning in, so he's forced to shoot at my bow or risk ricochet. And I managed to citadel him, finish him off for a high caliber, and then I get my forward guns aimed at the gearing and finish him off at just clearing the rear gun on the Yamato there for a double strike. Unfortunately, the Minotaur does end up finishing me off because, well, I was broadside to a Minotaur, and he effectively smacked me there at the end. Still, though, in the few minutes that took, and really the last 45 seconds, my team has managed to pull ahead significantly as we've taken out all of their battleships, and now we've taken out all their cruisers. And so they're just destroyers left. And of the destroyers, this trash can up here has got himself killed. So now there are only 2 destroyers left, a Kagero and a Fletcher. And that Fletcher is reasonably low health because there at the end I had the Fletcher flagged for secondaries. And so my secondaries were blazing away at him. In hindsight, I should have switched my secondaries over to the Minotaur and caused some more damage. Who knows, I might have even gotten a close quarters expert out of it if I had hit him in the right spot. The French cruiser here, this Henry, didn't quite play very well against that trash can, as he did end up taking a torpedo from him, which cost him quite a bit of health. And now he's closing in on the Fletcher, and the Fletcher, if played right, can really cause some serious hurt to this Henry, especially if he sets him on fire, and of course, especially if he gets torpedoes off at him. But again, that Fletcher, very low health, so it's not going to take much to finish him off, especially if he keeps taking hits like that from the Henry and our other cruisers like the Baltimore. But the Fletcher pops a smoke screen, so he's going to sit in there, and it kind of looks like our Henry is still pushing up there, but again, he's got a serious problem as he pushes up there. You saw a set of torpedoes there. Well, the Fletcher's got 2 sets. And of course, the enemy Kagero is in the process of capping the D cap point. So we do at the very least know where he is, and we do know where both of the destroyers are. Remember at the beginning of the battle, though, when I said the last thing I wanted to do was face a Yamato, a Minotaur, and a Fletcher all at the same time. Well, and a Gearing all at the same time. Yes, I faced all 4 of the major threats in the battle all at once. And I penetrated deeply, and I spread my freedom all up inside their citadels. And I didn't do too bad there, 173,000 damage in the game. Enemy team managed to secure the D cap point. My team is managing to secure the C cap point. And the enemy team starts capturing the A cap point. So that tells us exactly where that Fletcher is. He is no longer in his smoke screen. He is, in fact, inside that A cap point. And the only ship that's really in a position to, honestly deal with him is our Baltimore. And our Baltimore's pushing up here. He's full strength. So there should really be no excuse. He can definitely afford to take 1, possibly 2 torpedoes. And as he pushes up here, I'm explaining on the live stream exactly where I would be if I was the Fletcher, and I would be right behind that island. If I was capping the A cap point and I wanted to ensure that if the Baltimore pushed up and used his radar, I wouldn't be shot at, that would be the location I would be at. But no, that Fletcher is not behind that island. And foolishly, he opens up with his guns on a full-strength Baltimore with pretty much no health left. So the Baltimore very quickly finishes him off, and now that gives my team the total advantage, and we do secure our victory with points. Again, 173,000 damage done, just shy of 900,000 credits earned in that game. A little disappointed it wasn't more, but I did die. My only accolades were a double strike and a high caliber. I did do 4 kills, though, no Kraken, unfortunately. Couldn't quite finish off that Fletcher, or a few other ships like the Bismarck would have been a wonderful one. But I did end up top of the team for XP earned at 2,100 base XP. Overall, a very good battle, something I wish I had a lot more of in the Missouri. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, as well as my weekly live streaming schedule, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me in the channel and gain early access to replays like this one, you can do so by becoming my supporter on Patreon. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can send it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play World of Warships live, among other games, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find links for all of those in the video description down below. I want to wish each and every one of you who is in the United States or who is an American citizen living abroad a happy and wonderful 4th of July, and I hope you enjoy yourself today. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.